The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Let me try that again, this time with the unmute button. Sorry about that. I'm just talking away. Sorry about that, guys. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good weekend? Those of you that haven't seen yet today or talked to yet today, had an OCR this morning with some of my traders. So, second session for the day. Loving it, loving it. Except my eyes aren't. I'm feeling much better, thank you. Florida weather this time of year. Hush up. I was just in Florida 2 weeks ago, so indeed it was nice. Mackenzie, it was 17. Is that? Yeah. Nah, you're not hungry, John. You're doing great. 3 hours to go on a 24. You're doing great. Drink some water, and then drink more water, and do something. Put movement into it. Change your state. Give me rain in London. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the community. That's the killer. I had 110 back in Cali, but it was dry, so no problems. All right, so I want to try and keep the schedule tonight. I don't want to be too long. Just want to look at a few things on the scanner. And again, if you don't have a scanner yet, what you want to do is, where can I put? There. Forex, harmonic, if I could spell, harmonic patterns.com. And that'd be the place to go. Oops. Forex harmonic Forex harmonic patterns. Yep, being able to customize the notifications. No, it is an S. Forex harmonic patterns. That's the link to the site with the URL that will get you into my link. If you just go right to harmonic patterns, you're going to pay the same price, but you're not going to get the benefits. So down the road. Yep, and the newly fixed views on the monitor. Now that's okay, Luke. Does a little confusing, but that was my choice. I wanted to be right. I wanted to call it plural. So Forex harmonic pattern is the place to be. All right, so couple of things here. Let's see, GPY, JVY. So I'm on a 4-hour version here, and nothing really much going on here. So I'm going to drop down. I think instead of 15, we'll go to 30. We'll just do a little freestyling for it. Ooh, boy. Not something some people are used to seeing on a harmonic scanner, huh? So somebody actually asked about this the other day from a potentiality of what does it really mean, or how accurate can it be if you got potentials from where current price is to go up to a D up here or to come down to a D down here, all at the same time period. We're on a 30-minute chart. All right. How can that be? Right? Well, remember, for those that have had background from me before, that in terms of Elliott wave, right? And you don't have to be an Elliottian to trade, but I just want to explain the reality of why you see what you see there. In terms of wave structure and count and dynamics, a motive side of a move on the impulsive side, we can have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just so happens that the structure of that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and usually in a simple correction, an A, B, C, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not so terribly drawn, but a 5-wave, a 3-wave zigzag, and a 5-wave. It just so happens that 1, 2, 3 structure can also be an ABC. Whoa, where's my color? By count and appearance. One of these is going to continue. One of these is going to reverse out. So it is potential right here, depending on how good you are with Elliott wave and what other structures you've looked at. It is totally potential there for that wave or that price to continue up or to come on down. So that's why we want to be careful if you're new with Elliott wave, how much reliability you want to put on it. And why generally if you trade Elliott wave, you're going to get your butt handed to you pretty big time if you just trade Elliott wave. All right, so that's why we have those possibilities sometimes of scans, because from a Fibonacci perspective, the structure can look a lot the same, and so price, can potentially go different ways. I'm not a big fan, just saying, I'm not a big fan of these interim point kind of scans. An example would be this magenta one in the middle, where you see a point of origin right here. I'm not a big fan of that. I haven't looked at the success rate of those. But personally, just out of the gates, I'm not a big fan. And the reason is it kind of goes against the grain of what we know and trade with pitchforks. Just the way it is. So from these multiple scans here, we have some options, and I like this one here. It's going to be the bat. All right, so let's look at just the bat. Pretty cool how we can do that, huh? I've got to move this off this one monitor. It's just too small for me to see. Yeah, some of the cipher patterns, which I really don't consider patterns, I need to take them out, but I like to see them. They're not really true harmonic patterns. They're a chart pattern, but they're not a true harmonic pattern. Some people will call them harmonic patterns, some won't call them harmonic patterns. I'm one of those guys that doesn't. I'm too purist. Yeah, I take off the ciphers. Yep, there you go. So, you know, what do we got? What do we got? Let's look at our fork. We draw an X-ray alpha because the X, well, if we place the points right. And we can align with the D or the C. The D is going to be way too steep at the top, so we'll align with the C. And get it up there right to the wick. And you see something pretty cool, don't you? When you align it on the C, the calculated termination point of the D, as far as price, at this given moment, and that's just coincidence, but it's just fun to see, you know, at this particular moment is right here. Now we know that is going to slide on that line that way as price continues to move east. But for it to be right there right now is just kind of fun. So we do have some expectations in terms of the pitchfork, not of the scan, but of the pitchfork. In terms of what happens, you know, we have a nice move from A to the B of the scan. We come back. That can very well be a two-wave, and now we're headed down. If it is, you know, this is a correction. We're going to see more of a drop. So watching the activity along here is going to be pretty important. Little breach on that evening star, but the red comes up, tags the quad, and then drops back down. So watch this, but kind of interesting where things are. Let's see, so that is a 30-minute scan. We can't, in terms of the X-ray alpha, we can't align the bottom with the D. Well, we could, but it's not going to work because that fork would then be pointing up. And based on the XA going swing low to swing high, we're expecting a downward move. So from a Charlie Delta training perspective, we'd put this X-ray alpha here off the top. And now we're ready for trades. Yeah. With some pretty good setups cooking in there. I don't, I don't do my freestyle and forks anymore. I may bring them back. We had a small group that did that. It wasn't well attended, but the guys and gals that showed up, we had a lot of fun. And freestyle and forks were forks we just drew mostly on crypto pairs, because at that time our scanner didn't have crypto. But now seems like we all have scanners now that can do crypto. Oh, excuse me. So there's a cipher. Blah. I just joking. Well, now. Well, now. No. Kind of interesting. Can we find anything else? Any reverse compliance? We can align it with one thing, but that doesn't give us a trade. It does look pretty sharp after the fact. So this is why forks are good. You know, in this particular case, you had a PRZ. You can see this little gray area on the chart. And a couple of wicks up here to play with. Not using the C. Strange pattern. But if we use this one here, we do get some touches that are pretty interesting. So you got a nice little touch to it, an oct. You know, there are touches, nothing that's tradable, but just you're looking at the touches. Doesn't make it tradable. You're just looking for alignment. We do have the hit at the D on the median, and then you have this really nice hit here. Nothing stellar in the past. But these big long wicks, you know, are what we're looking for touches. I mean, not even that long, but the fact that they are disproportionately long. This is kind of wicky for me at a 60-minute level. But again, crypto, we're not really trading crypto like we do others. It's good to go to crypto to practice, so you're not tempted to take the trades, because these aren't trades in that kind of sense. This be trade vesting, as I call it. But it's good to practice forks and to look at what goes on. We can play just to see if the alignment on the C would do anything. Oh, well, look at that. There you go. Speak too soon. So there you go. Didn't look like it was going to make it. So we have, you know, we do have some hits. And then the C aligned, and we get a perfect touch to the median. Woo-woo! Reverse compliance back here. Everybody understand reverse compliance? Has it been a while? Some of you don't know reverse compliance. Yeah, that's a beautiful wick on the median there. Reverse compliance means from the time we're really getting good hits and alignment, can we go back to something in the past? And in this case, it's not even valid to align the fork off of it. It's just the point that makes it a trend line touch. This here. And the reason we can't really use that is because that wick is actually part of the swing that makes up the edge of the fork. And so none of those are really used to set a fork with Gregor best fit rules. So we can't use part of the swing to establish what happens, but it is a trend line touch, and at that, it is a pack move. For those that are not familiar, a pack is a pass and check. So go past a strong support and resistance line, come back and check it to the pip, and then bounce off. It's called a pack move. And those are very strong in terms of, determining strength of a trend line. So while we have, like a touch or two up here, the rest of this kind of invalidates that touch. The C is a nice touch to use, and when we do, we get this. So maybe after the C, we may consider it. But the bottom line is, I look at something like this and I go, this, you have a touch here, you have a touch here, you got the pass and check, which really in this zone, despite all the wicks, makes that a noticeable trend line, and then you get the hit on it right down here. So what that really means in this fork, from my perspective, as time moves on, I'm going to be paying much more attention, to that median line. Now, you can see this upper quad, once we get that legend box out of the way, we do have some pretty good interaction with it up in this area. There's, 3 out of 5 or 6 candles are really respecting that line. But I'm still going to put a lot of emphasis on this trend line, on the median itself as a trend line. Touches up here by itself, I'm not going to, if we get a great touch up here and it's some sort of support and resistance, now, with this charting solution, we do have these blue lines, which are a range-based support and resistance system provided by the scanner provider. And so that would be an energy point, a bounce off that, regardless of the fact that this kind of just gives you the, can't put a lot of faith in it kind of perspective. But the touch here, the subsequent touch down here, like I said, the median's golden. This would have to be a pretty strong energy point for me by itself. Now, of course, the majority of people aren't using just the pitchfork and energy points at this level. Now, this is Litecoin, and this is a 1-hour chart. So most traders looking at this time frame, is on tab 29. Fast 33 won't cut it here. For what we're doing, we'd really want to see what these are as far as what kind of touch is that, Is it a retracement, or was that a reversal trend touch, wave exhaustion point, etc.? So we can tell more of tab 29 on that kind of reality. But the reverse compliance is pretty big, especially when it serves as a pack and check, or a pass and check, or a pack. Yeah. All right. So good forks, good trading. Again, Litecoin, so good practice for your forks. Go to crypto. You're not going to be tempted to trade it like you would Forex, unless you've really already dabbled pretty heavily in crypto, understand the spreads based on the coin you're trading, or the crypto, etc. So I'll come back to Forex. Arr. I'm going to go all the way back to there. But so if we look at the full extent of the swing here, so notice it is a bit of a continuation, but we definitely have, you know, an upswing from this area. So it's always good to come in. Now we could always go back and do a best fit or do a reverse fork to see if we have any channel compliance in the history. No, I'm not going to use that wick. So let's look at that. If we go to the full extent of the move, I'm just going to swing to the bottom. And looky what happens. So out of the corner of the swing, we get our 80% chance of hitting the median real nicely. We breach it. But it does come back, and this was our fix point here that we used to fix the fork. And when we do that, good old Alan Andrews says there's a good likelihood a bounce off the lower parallel is going to get back to the median. No percentage on it, just good chance. And there's our, based on today, circumstantial, it looks like an energy point, but I don't believe those blue lines were there when it bounced. Okay. But fixing it here, we do get this very nice bounce right here. And here's the deal. I haven't looked at this from a longer term perspective, you know, searching out like I normally would at this point, because I want to find, I know the median will bounce it, and we have the nice touch right here. Again, it's based on the size of the swing. These are Fibonacci points. Some retracement, projection, expansion, extended retracement in front of this terminated at these Fibonacci points. They become swing highs and swing lows at the 4-hour level. We put a chart, we swing it, and we get a hit, and we get a hit, and so we're looking pretty good, and then we get the hit here. But I guarantee you this line, even though it's probably not there at the time this hit occurred on the pitchfork, there's something there. There's an energy point there, and we could probably go back and find it. Yeah, it's a real nice median line touch. We come down within tolerance of an oct touch. You go back, breach the median, just a little, second line real close, a little bit of a pass and check move, and then we go up and we hit a quad, and that's on another line that probably has something going on, and then you have a double top. As well. But some of this, becomes interesting and tradable. So if we go over to my trading view chart, so we can actually see what's going on here, I think. Let me pull it up. That was a 240, right? Okay. Price point's a little different, but we still have the same touches. And we can see this down here was an 8-hour bottom. Technically, you can notice that price point bouncing off the pitchfork is just a little bit higher in price than this. This was really the 4-hour bottom. And it comes back and now tests the pitchfork probably in a wave 2. Okay. But that was really a 4-hour bottom. Green, yellow is the 8-hour bottom. So 8-hour bottom. Eight-hour top. Notice the retracement down. Good luck. 8 hours stayed up. 4-hour wave pulls back. There's your slingshot impulsive all blue back up to an 8-hour top. And once again, a number of 8-hour tops as this thing is bouncing around up in here trying to find its true resistance points. Pull back from the 8-hour retracement, converge, pull back, retracement, come back down. So, but, we can get down to the nice thing about TradingView, whether you do it on one chart like on the scanner, which to me is the greatest value in this. I mean, there's lots of good value in this scanner, but one of the greatest values in this scanner is being able to change time periods and keep stuff on the chart and just have it through a, just have it through through visibility of it being on and just changing time periods. Here, if we turn sync on and visibility on, it'll go through all our time periods that we allow it to. In this case, minutes and hours if I have it set up that way. So I could come down and then look at, let's say, my 30-minute chart. Visibility on, I'll see the same fork. And you can see the accuracy of the visibility. There's the 30-minute hit, and there's the 4-hour hit, and the 4-hour hit here, and the 4-hour hit here. So it does a good job with the visibility of showing the same hits. And we can even, drop down further. That was what, 30? We'll see if those wicks hold. And remember, if you're on a 4-hour fork and you're dropping down to a 10-minute chart, do you have to have till the pip touches, or is close enough good enough to trade? Close enough's really good enough to trade. That's not the one, though, I don't believe. There it is. Well, forget being close enough. That's to the pip. I love visibility on these charts. I just absolutely love visibility. You get something that's hot like that. So tab 29, the blue is your 30-minute wave, 15-minute wave. Let's see, it's 10-minute chart. And this is a 10-minute wave converging into the 30-minute wave. We get, oh, I just spaced it back out. Come on. We do end up getting red blocks, and so at that level it would be, an interesting move. You wouldn't be able to wait for a close on the red blocks. On the red trend bars, scale here is too big. Those are 10 pip channels. But just for grins, 10, 15, 1. Now we're seeing a little difference in the exactness. Is that? Yeah, that's the same time frame. All right. So, but we got to look at our scale here. So that is, I'll use a rectangle. I'll use my scale color white, I think. Those are, that's a 5.5 pip grid right there. So from the point of the breach up, it's only about 2.5, 3 pips of a breach. On a 4-hour trade, that's plenty fine. On a 4-hour trade, that's plenty fine. His boxing's going great, Mackenzie. He's been spending more time with Sweet Pea the past couple of weeks. He was sick a little, so he didn't hit at 100% Monday through Friday like he normally does, but Sweet Pea's been working him over, man. Sweet Pea Whitaker. So, by watching your other charts, here you go, right here. I'm trying to open this up enough so you can see. You have a series of convergences. This first one, this first touch would have been an entry. And those of you that have learned fast, it's the same concept here with tab 29. We just have a little bit more wave action at the lower level especially. But, we move out, we get the red blocks, we come down. Where do we exit? At extreme, or when the 1-minute wave moves over, especially since the 10-minute wave has stayed flat, which means it's called a snake when it stays flat like that. So we've pulled down, we come down, we got as many pips as we're going to get because the 1-minute wave has expired itself. And so as soon as it starts hooking back up and we get green, we're exiting that trade. So we come down here, we're exiting right here on that blue candle. So we got those pips right there. By scale, that's probably, pay the dealer, blah, 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 easy +5 in the bank on your attempt at a 4-hour trade on your 1-minute chart. We have another convergence right as it goes up and breaches. Now again, on our 10-minute chart, on our 30-minute chart, on our 240 chart, that's going to look like an exact touch just because of scale. When we can see it's not exact, it's close enough at those levels, close enough to take a trade. It breaches it, turns around, starts coming back down. We have convergence again, and now we're in the trade and it starts coming down. Now I want you to pay attention to something. look at, we're on a 1 minute chart, so I know I'm jumping ahead for some of you who haven't gotten this far, but hang with me, we'll catch you up. We've got our multiple time frame haul to help us with money management, to help us stay in that trade as this thing's moving on. We could go 10-minute wave extreme to 10-minute wave extreme. Remember, we're not going to be greedy. And you can see anywhere in here where we finally hit at the bottom, from the time we're in this range on down, we have all red. We don't have all green bars in here. We don't have all green bars. From the time it gets close all the way to there, we have no green bars. And then all of a sudden we have a green bar. So look how it tells you to exit out. You've maximized your pips in that move going 15-minute to 15-minute. Now it's a 4-hour move, so you can, do a bunch of things there. There's no, well, it's just moving around on me, isn't it? You can do a bunch of things here from a money management perspective. Remember, we like to operate in the new paradigm. We understand 5 pips per day, granted on a $5,000 account, 5 pips per day in 24 months gives us $1 million. Now, that's just hypothetical calculations. Obviously, past results don't guarantee any future performance, or past performance doesn't guarantee future results. But if we can maintain 5 pips per day net, that's all. 24 months. This is why you want to learn to trade. So in a move where this grid is 5 pips, those are each 5 pip gains. From the top where we got in, there's the first 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and a little bleed off of that. So definitely 30 plus pips. You've done a whole week's worth of trading. This is why 4-hour setups are good. You don't have to catch the 300 pip move. Get past the old paradigm where you're just like, we went so far, and I saw Billy made 600 pips last week with a 300 pip stop loss. That's my joke. Don't let all that other crap get to you. Understand, 5 pips a day and you just made 30. You out traded the week. Go do some self-development. Go watch some more OCR videos, some more Disruptive Trader TV. Get off the charts. Your amygdala is going to be flooded with the excitement of your trade. The amygdala floods. It sends, gets peptides that confuse it. It shuts down the adrenaline system. It shuts down the RAS system. And so while you're processing stuff on the chart, your brain can't process it. While your sensory information process it based on your scanning, your brain can't process it. The amygdala shut it down. Happy times, sad times. So whether you win the trade or lose the trade, the amygdala is not your friend. And so bank those 30 pips. Don't try and trade more and give them up. Yeah, I know, but they're not allowed to, Zoe. That's the problem. All right. Once you master it, you can trade it, but not independent of, at the upper time frame level, you really need to have targeting, because convergences don't mean anything. Even though it's the end of a wave cycle, it's not necessarily the move. Now, the way the indicators work, we know how to make profit of it, even if we're early. Okay. So, but smaller time frames, 1 minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, you can actually trade just off tab 29. But again, it's not recommended. It's like, why? Why? Here's the deal. When you can make so few pips and make such high dollars, what that allows you to do is tighten your criteria. And so your selection criteria gets better and better and better. Because the criteria is tighter, which means you only take the best of the best trades. If you're only taking the best of the best trades, what does that do for your percentage rate? It goes way up. I've said it a million times. Well, it's an embellishment, but I've said it a lot this past 2 years. And I don't mean it from a point of arrogance. I mean it from a point of I'm disciplined to wait for just really, really good trades. And so my comment on that is I'm only going to take trades I know I'm going to win. Again, that's not a point of cockiness or arrogance. That's a point of knowledge of system performance and taking the elite of criteria. Zoe says she did that last week. It took her a couple years to get there. Yeah. If when you could screen out, when you have the discipline to screen out trades that you're tempted to take because they look juicy, but that's just because of FOMO. That's just because of desperation. If you screen trades for the absolute best criteria, then, wow. Now, the other thing you'll notice here that can deliver more profit is we're using the multiple time frame haul that we created. And we're on a 1-minute chart. And this is like a 10 or 15-minute haul. And you can see that haul doesn't even turn in your favor until you're past what would have been the exit point on your 15-minute wave, 15-minute or 10-minute wave to 10-minute wave bottom. 10-minute wave top to 10-minute wave bottom. So those 30 pips I was talking about, another trader may come in and say, this was a 4-hour, this was an 8-hour top. Why am I going to take myself out at 30 minutes? I'm going to stay in here for at least a 30-minute convergence. Which means I could surely run a 15-minute haul just to track and see what happens. Which means that 15-minute haul is still red way down here. So by the time you're exiting here, remember what we said? Who remembers from the little training we've done on haul when we run 2 hauls like this, one for the time period we're on and one for the next time period up? What do we do at a point like this? Right? So not only did we get a 15-minute wave or a 10-minute wave, harmonic wave convergence going to a 10-minute wave harmonic wave convergence down here. Our haul on the 1-minute level flips back up. It had been red, in this range. The haul flips back up. We can exit, pocket a bunch of pips, get those 30. Hey, guess what we can do? 80% out and let 20% run now on the 15-minute haul or the 10-minute haul until it turns, unless there's more than a 40% pullback. Yeah. On a 4-hour move, I wouldn't go to the 5. I'd jump right to the 10 or 15 at least as a minimum. That's not being risky. That's not being greedy. That's not having overly, an overly large amount of FOMO for, the big pips that might be there. So I'm a believer in locking in partial profit. You say, but Steve, this is an 8-hour move. This thing could really go. Yeah, well, here's what you're not forgetting. Here's what you're forgetting. This could be, it is an 8-hour top, but and a 30-minute top. But here's the problem. At any point, way down here, this could come back and check it and be a satisfactory wave too. So if you're going to stay in here and just, go for the big guns and just wait until you get the 4-hour convergence or the 8-hour convergence, you may have rode off a lot of pips that you made. And then if it's faked you out and it's not really a wave two, if it's a reversal here or a continuation of the up move, guess what? You lost everything. So I'm a fan of locking stuff in where it makes sense, And again, why do I like big moves? Because they're high percentage. This is on a fork that we had several good touches on, and the median was like Yahoo. And on a 4-hour chart, I'm within 3 pips of a perfect touch. You betcha. Brian used to say, in there like swimwear. No, I'm going to do, I believe I'd pronounce it Magdalene. I'm going to do a pretty substantial hull training. I've done some previously, but I want to do one for the Fast 33 site that's better than what I've done in the past. So it's one of these Mondays, Wednesdays coming up. I'm just going to make it a haul, and I'll record it and post it as both a Disruptive Traders TV session, as well as stick it on the Fast 33 page. Yeah, it's look, and it's not, guys. 2% to a 10 pip stop loss. That means you made 30 pips. You just made 6% on your account. You're shooting for 1% a day. 1% a day compounded, 22 days, trading days a month for 24 months is $1 million. That's the math of it. So if we're shooting for 1% a day and you find a trade that gives you 6, you done good. You want to know how to spend productive time after a trade like this? If you banked all 100% of your lots here and you took the 30 pips, you want to know the most productive thing you can do? One of them is, go do something else. But if you're convinced that you need to stay on the charts, do not trade. Shut your trading station down. Go do some setups and find you another trade that's going to give you 5 or 6%. I'm with you on the wine. One of my friends was at the Vegas event over the weekend, and I don't know. Anyway, she sent a picture. She left. She wasn't feeling like sitting in the room for the conversation. It was, I don't know, very early in the morning still. And sends me a picture of a glass of vodka. It must have been 9:45 in the morning or something. You know who you are. And my only comment back was, yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So, yeah, celebratory glass of wine. So this is what the new paradigm will allow you to do. You don't have to have these big supply and demand zones. You don't have to have 300, 400 pips to make a trade worthwhile being in it. And not only that, if you count the time, I think somebody pointed it out, from 12 o'clock to about, 12:45, you're in the trade 45 minutes and made 6% on your account. That's a pretty good return. It's the returns you want. Yeah, exactly. Not 0900, but 1700. Yeah, but Vegas keeps a 24-hour clock and it just runs continuously, so it doesn't matter. Who knows? That might have been late at night instead of early in the morning. It just depends on what you're doing, right? So anyway, scans, forks, fibos, waveology. There's your secret. And I'm laying out a roadmap, so no matter where you are, if you're not familiar with forks yet, we'll have the fork class course ready. If you need some work on scans, we're going to do a class on scans. We've already got Charlie Delta done, so I'll package that. And then we've got training on fast for those that do fast at the lower time period levels. And there'll be options for everybody at tab 29. So cool stuff. Forks, scans, guys, it's the way to go. It's all I do. You know, I even jump down sometimes for fun and, you know, look for scans at the 1 minute, 5 minute levels. Draw a pitchfork on them. Those are easy money. Oh my God. Easy money. So we'll do more of this. You know, we'll look at forks and then, you know, at scans and forks on scans. And I'm going to try and, you know, drive this down. So what we have coming up, there's going to be a lot more posting of trades on the Telegram channel for the group. So you can go into the, if you're not already on the Telegram, the main Telegram for the scans, forks, and fibos group, you need to be. Of course, you're here because you're in that group. You saw the registration. Tell your friends, tell your trading buddies to get here. You know, I don't care where you're from, and you know, I just want to help people learn how to trade. It's your insurance income. For those of you doing other things, for those of you in various MLMs, trading is your insurance income. It's a skill set nobody can take away from you. No company's going to crash. No company's going to implode and take away your source of income if you learn to trade. And it's the one thing you can do that gives you good potential. I have to say potential because, you know, CFTC might be listening. Gives you good potential for income. You know, as always, it carries risk, and you may lose, you may win. There's no guarantee of the future. But if you learn the skill set, and I was harping on some of my traders this morning, you invest the time in self-development so you have the head game. You're going to have to grow personally in order to be successful as a trader. To that end, for those here, little plug, advertisement, whatever you call it, I have two things to help you. They're both free. One is a Facebook group called Next Level Seekers. I suggest you join that group, Next Level Seekers. It's going to bust out here in April, later part of March. And then another activity that's right there in the Scans, Forks, and Fibos group every Thursday, thereabouts. I put out the Mindset Mastery podcast. Sometimes it's YouTube right now. But nothing but head game. You can take it portable. You don't need to watch anything. And good head game stuff for traders specifically. So those, again, no matter what you're trading, it'll speak to that. It does have a new paradigm slant as we get to the more technical stuff on trading in terms of head game. But I plug into both of those, Next Level Seekers Facebook group and the Traders Mindset Mastery podcast. And again, all those things, you could just search for that in the group. There will be archives forthcoming at DisruptiveTraders.com for DisruptiveTraders-TV. And so you'll be able to just access everything either in the group or at the site. So with that, I'm going to cut out. It's been a good hour. I'm a little tired, and I just want to keep myself rested. No chance for a relapse. I can't afford that downtime anymore. I really think those of you that are coming are going to do some pretty cool things this year. Learning to trade is, you know, a life skill. It's, if you get the right framework in your head, it's, you know, you understand it's not going to happen overnight. And if you're chasing things to happen overnight, you're not going to make it anyway. So good luck. You know, one thing you'll know about me is I don't candy coat. I don't sugarcoat it. I tell you the way it is from the experience set of a trader, and it ain't going to come overnight. Doesn't have to take 10 years, but it ain't going to come overnight. And so just establish your right expectations out of the gate and just persist without exception, and you will make it. I mean, I sincerely believe you will make it if you just persist without exception. I'm here to help those who will commit to that. I'm here to help those who are willing to commit to that. So if you can commit to becoming a trader and you'll do the work, then you and I will have a great partnership and we'll be friends for a long time. So if that, I'm going to remind you, life can be short. So for those people who care and love, let them know you care and love them. Pick 3 people today and just out of the blue, send them a message. Call them if you can. But if not, just send them a little message. Somebody you hadn't talked to in a long time. You know, somebody you might normally talk to at least once a month and you haven't talked to them in 6 months. Find that kind of person and send them a message, text, whatever, email. Just, hey man, I was sitting here today thinking about the people that matter in my life, and you came up as a name in my head. And I just want to reach out and let you know how much I appreciate you. So do that. You'll make somebody's day, trust me. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. We'll look more at scans, forks, and fibos in Forex and crypto. Y'all have a good couple of days. I'll see you in Facebook land.